So, guys, I wanted to chime in on this Scottie Pippen situation. Um, this beef that Scottie Pippen all of a sudden has against Michael Jordan. So, why is Scottie Pippen so mad at Michael Jordan? Let's be real. Scottie Pippen is suffering from the worst case of little brother syndrome in human history. In Scottie Pippen's head, he's tired of being Robin. He's tired of being the sidekick. He's tired of being the garnish while Michael Jordan is the steak. And Scottie knows that without the steak, nobody orders the garnish. But recently, Scottie he's taken off. He's taken this bitterness and he's jumped straight off the deep end. And so he actually looked into the camera with a straight face and called Michael Jordan the literal logo of the sport, horrible and overrated. And so it's not an opinion, that's a medical condition. Okay? He claimed that MJ was horrible to play with. Now, prior to that, Scottie Pippen was talking about Michael Jordan was a great teammate. He was saying that Michael Jordan was the greatest to ever play the game of basketball. But then it went from that, like he did a complete 180. And so he claimed that Jordan was horrible to play with, that he took bad shots, and that he was just a selfish gunner. And so Scottie, my brother, those bad shots resulted in 6 parades in downtown Chicago. So I'm just like, what is dude talking about? If winning 6 championships and 6 finals MVPs is horrible, then please ruin my team immediately. Now, here's the weirdest part of Scottie Pippen's tantrum. He, so, in my opinion, he's fighting like a one-sided war against the guy who keeps trying to hug him. I mean, think about it. While Scottie is out there screaming that Michael Jordan is, hog the spotlight, Michael Jordan has spent decades trying to give it back. And so Michael Jordan has publicly stated on record, I didn't win without Scottie Pippen. In his Hall of Fame speech, Jordan said without Pippen, there would be no Michael Jordan. And so MJ is basically shouting, you complete me. And Scottie, he's shouting back, Jordan's trash. So why the hostility? we'll have to talk about the contract. So he's furious about the '90s because he signed the worst contract in the history of organized labor, and so he was a top 5 player in the league, being paid like a substitute teacher basically, and he was something like the 122nd highest paid player in the NBA, and so Jordan criticized or publicly agreed that Scottie was underpaid. And he said that Scottie Pippen deserved way more. But then came the Last Dance documentary. And since MJ had creative control, aka the God mode button, on the editing suite, Scottie feels that Jordan highlighted all the wrong things. And so the documentary zoomed in on Scottie Pippen's contract, on that holdout, and then his migraine game, and then the time that he refused to enter the game for 1.8 seconds. And so Scottie feels that Jordan used the documentary to paint him as selfish for wanting to be paid what he felt that he was worth. So in Scottie's mind, Jordan is the billionaire producer who made a movie called Why Scottie Pippen is Soft and Bad at Math, and and so that's one of the reasons Scottie Pippen seems to be frustrated, but I think it's a little bit more than that. I think it's a little bit more. Here's where I think where some of Scottie's frustration is coming from. So you have to look at the Larsa situation. So honestly, the basketball stuff, that's just the appetizer. The real reason Scottie Pippen is losing his mind in the soap opera currently airing in his personal life. Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, Larsa, decided to date Marcus Jordan. So, yeah, Michael Jordan's son. So, do the math on the family tree. That technically makes Michael Jordan, or made him at one point, the step grandfather to Scottie Pippen's children. And so that's diabolical on so many levels. It's not enough that they're calling you Robin to his Batman. It's not enough that they're calling you his sidekick, that you're going to forever be remembered as that. You went into the Hall of Fame being known as Michael Jordan's sidekick. Like Scottie Pippen was probably like one of the only guys, when you think about it, in NBA history, viewed as the greatest sidekick of all time. I can't think of any other player combination. No, I can't think of any other individual player in NBA history that was basically viewed as like a sidekick. So that was one thing. But then the Larsa situation. And so the Larsa situation, Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan, this brings up two massive questions. So the first question is, why do these rich guys love recycled women? So, like, think about Reggie Bush, Kanye West. Think about those. Think about all of these dudes who dated Kim Kardashian, and especially girls like Kim Kardashian. Like, why? I genuinely do not understand this. Marcus Jordan, he is the heir to the Air Jordan empire. He's young, rich, famous. He could date a supermodel. He could date a brain surgeon. He could date a pop star who has never met an NBA player. But instead, he goes to the community well to fish out a woman who was basically Auntie Larsa. And so when when she married Scottie Pippen at age 23, Marcus Jordan was 7. So think about that. It's like buying a used car when you own the Ferrari factory. It makes 0 sense. The whole situation is the cosmic invoice for being a legend. So I guess this is the price that you pay when you decide to become a god of athletics and business. And so if you guys have ever heard of Faust and the devil, the the Faustian bargain, you spent 20 years destroying opponents, filming commercials, filming movies, becoming a billionaire. But there's this massive exchange rate. You don't have time to be a husband to your wife, and you definitely don't have time to be a father to your kids. So while MJ was busy winning 6 rings, editing documentaries, he wasn't home to sit down with Marcus and have the talk. And I don't mean to talk about the birds and the bees. I mean to talk about choosing a mate 101. If MJ had been around more, he might have said, "Son, rule number one, you don't date the ex-wives of the guys I showered with in 1996." Because MJ was too busy being an icon, Marcus was left to navigate the dating world without a compass and ended up docking his ship in Scottie Pippen's harbor. And then wasn't Larsa Pippen with Future? She was with Future, and she was probably with some other dudes too. And so now Scottie is hurt, confused, and and broke. And so he can't yell at Larsa, the mother of his kids, and he really can't yell at Marcus. So he rounds up the I Hate Mike support group, Luke Longley and Horace Grant, and goes on this no bull tour in Australia. And it was basically like a traveling therapy session where three giants sat on stage and complained about the 90s. And so Scottie, in my opinion, he's aiming this bazooka at the wrong target. Michael Jordan gave him his flowers years ago. And so the call, Scottie, is coming from inside the house. I think this like really messed up Scottie Pippen's legacy because again, he did a complete 180-degree turn on his views and opinions about Michael Jordan as a player and as a teammate. When it came to comparing him and LeBron James, and when it came to comparing Michael Jordan to any other player, um, and then comparing this era of the NBA to his era, thinking about the stuff that Scottie Pippen had went through during the time he was in the NBA, the abuse he put up with, specifically with the New York Knicks and the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons, and for you to come out and say that this era is better than your era, and which was a complete contradiction of what you said before, and that LeBron now is a better player than Jordan. Again, it's complete 180 from what you said before. And so now it's like all of this hatred and vitriol you've had towards Michael Jordan for the past few years, really because you basically like a jealous husband. And understandable that you're a jealous husband, but why was the frustration against Mike? What did Mike do to you? It was, you have two people to blame. You blame your ex-wife Larsa, and then you blame the mainstream legacy media. The mainstream legacy media did this to you. The mainstream legacy media reduced you to a sidekick. They reduced you to like not being anything without Jordan. They did that to you. I remember Scottie Pippen, and I remember at one point when Jordan first came back to the NBA, Scottie Pippen was actually arguably the best player in the NBA, and he was definitely the best player on the Chicago Bulls team for a while. And so Michael Jordan, it would take Michael Jordan like about a year, a little bit over a year, to go back to being the best player on the Chicago Bulls team. But Scottie Pippen, for a long time, had always been like the best defender, and really, show an extremely high basketball IQ. And so I just think that he's lashing out at the wrong people or the wrong person specifically. That's just my take on it. What's your thoughts on the situation? Leave your comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Holla at you guys later. Peace.